49ers fans, we've actually got some real 49er football to talk about. So let's do that.
I'ma put it all on the table. We forever faithful. Yeah, we still faithful.
All right, what's going on, 49er faithful? You are tuned in to Keeping the Faith with this instant overreaction to the 49ers and Titans preseason opener down at Levi Stadium Thursday evening. I'm JD. Thank you guys for tuning in here late this Thursday evening. Glad to have you. Glad that football is finally back and we actually have something of substance to react to. We finally got to feast our eyes on at least the early version or the backup version of the 2026 San Francisco 49ers as the San Francisco 49ers fell 19-13 against the Tennessee Titans on Thursday. But we all know in the preseason, it is not about the final score. That is not what matters in a game like this. What matters is what happens in between the start and finish of the game. And we have a lot to get into here tonight during the show. I have thoughts, I have opinions, and I have eyeballs. So I got to watch this game. I have some positives and negatives to talk about from what I saw from a bunch of young and 49ers players on both offense and defense in this game. So I'm looking forward to getting into all of that with you guys here tonight. I know there are a million people in terms of content creators who are going live at this very moment, doing the exact same thing. So if you are catching this live, I greatly appreciate you. Thank you so much. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss anything that we do here on the channel. If you happen to want to help support the channel, a couple of quick ways to do that. Click the join button down below. Become a channel member today. You get access to a bunch of behind-the-scenes perks. Not going to bore you with all those details right now. Click the join button for yourself and take a look. Also, throughout the course of the stream this evening, if you want to make sure that your question or comment gets read on the show, you can always drop a super chat. Those do jump to the front of the line. All right. As I mentioned, we have a ton of positives and negatives to sift through from this game tonight out at Levi's Stadium. And I would be remiss if I did not start with the positives. And I think Niners fans know exactly where I am going to go at the top of this here as we list all the positive takeaways that I have from this game, because wide receiver Dejon Stribling showed out tonight in his NFL preseason debut. 7 receptions for 63 yards on 8 targets, and that 8th target happened to be a drop, but it was, a little bit behind him on a slant route that he was throwing the ball from Curtis Rourke. Rourke threw it a little bit behind him, but you know what? I'll say this. Stribling should have caught it. It was there. Rourke tried to fit it in. It was early in the game. Maybe some quick jitters for the rookie Stribling. But after that, he absolutely settled in and put on a hell of a show, a hell of a rookie debut, albeit a preseason rookie debut. He did a little bit of everything in this game. Moved the chains, caught some passes over the middle of the field, caught some passes out near the sideline, caught passes up above his head, had some balls that went below his feet that he was able to corral, displayed some really, really strong hands. He did not body catch. He wasn't doing the Vernon Davis thing where he caught everything with his chest. Everything from Dejon Stribling was in his hands, out away from his body. Big, strong hands on full display. And I was very impressed with what we saw from the rookie out of Ole Miss. If you've been following the channel this offseason, you know how I feel about Dejon Stribling and where I am in terms of being on the Dejon Stribling hype train since before the draft. But I was very happy with what I saw from number 15. He lined up a ton at Z in this game. They also moved him around quite a bit. They even had him run a little pop pass behind the line of scrimmage. Now, that was sniffed out instantly, but it was nice to see them move Stribling around, trying to have him do some different things. Like I said, he also lined up a ton at Z, and I would imagine that's going to be where you see Stribling a lot this season, but he's also going to play in the slot, and it doesn't look too big for him. They're throwing a lot at him early on already, and it doesn't look too big for the kid. I was really, really excited with what I saw out of Dejon Stribling. He looks like a receiver that is going to be able to contribute early and often as a rookie for Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers this year. And of course, I called for it before the game. I clamored for it. I said, I want to see one deep ball to Stribling. We got to get one. And we did get just that when Curtis Rourke uncorked a ball down the right sideline that saw Dejon Stribling have to turn back around for it, twist and contort his body back shoulder style, went up, came down with it. Highlight of the game offensively from the 49ers, and it had Niners fans going crazy both on on social media, inside Levi Stadium, and I'm sure everyone at home on their couches as well. Heck of a performance from Dejon Stribling in his rookie debut. Cannot wait to see more from the kid. I do see a few of you guys chiming in here in our live chat this evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're just going through our positives and negatives based on what we saw out there tonight at Levi Stadium, and I had to start off my positive takeaways with what we saw from Strib, as the kids say. Next on my list, you got to go with backup quarterback Curtis Rourke, who was named the starter for this game as Mac Jones was held out. Brock Purdy was, of course, not going to sniff the field in this one. So Curtis Rourke got the start. The former 49ers seventh-round pick out of Indiana from a year ago went 12 of 14, 101 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, played about a quarter and a half before exiting with what the team is calling a rib injury. He did leave and go to the locker room and then ultimately ended up going to a nearby hospital because I guess he was having difficulty catching his breath or breathing somewhat. However, there was some good news from Kyle Shanahan in the post-practice presser saying that Rourke, the x-rays did not show any broken ribs or anything like that. So they'll have to wait and see kind of exactly what the injury is or what the long-term outlook is. But Rourke played his ass off in this game. Niner fans have been waiting to see what the Maple Missile could provide, as many like to call him. That's the nickname that he has. And I really liked what I saw from Rourke. Stood in the pocket, strong, delivered strikes, had a lot of zip on his passes, and interestingly enough, showed a ton more mobility than I think a lot of people realized that he had. And a matter of fact, the play he got injured on, he took a run up the middle of the field and tried to cross the goal line for a score midway through the second quarter, and that's the play he got injured on, took a shot to the ribs. But I was ecstatic with what we saw from Curtis Rourke. And the talk all offseason has been, hey, what if Curtis Rourke goes out this preseason and balls out? Can the 49ers potentially look to maybe trade Mac Jones? Now, I know we're getting way ahead of ourselves with that conversation, but it was a solid first step, first start, first taste of what Curtis Rourke brings to the table for the 49ers. And, he looked like he had command of the offense, put the ball where he wanted to, stood in the pocket strong, was not, concerning himself with the pass rush, had a little bit of elusiveness, some mobility. I was really impressed with Curtis Rourke. Now, hopefully the rib injury he sustained is nothing long-term. I am hoping and praying that everything will be okay there because it looks like the Niners have something with Curtis Rourke. The Niners may have themselves another seventh-round gem at quarterback. And, I was happy with what I saw, and I know a lot of Niners fans feel the same way. Next on my list of positive takeaways from this game, we flip over to the defensive side of the ball. Grayson Halton, the defensive tackle out of Oklahoma, was everywhere. An absolute wrecking ball on the interior of the 49ers defensive line. He had a nonstop motor. Every single play, he was running, sprinting like a guy like a chicken with his head cut off. He was everywhere on the football field. In terms of, the interior, getting upfield, being a disruptor on the middle of the 49ers defensive line. I love what I saw from Grayson Halton. Made tons of plays, around the line of scrimmage and in the backfield. He had he had a sack wiped away on a play with a penalty, and that was a shame because it was a hell of a play by Halton to get up the field and register the sack. But it didn't discourage him because on the very next play, Halton followed it up with a tackle for loss in the backfield. He looked like an absolute a stud out there. He looked amazing. And not only that, he was going up against Titans guard Peter Skoronski, who is the highest paid guard in the National Football League, just over $25 million a season. And Grayson Halton made Peter Skoronski look kind of silly on a number of occasions. So, look, this is an instant overreaction show, and that's kind of what maybe we're doing here with some of the positives and negatives. But, man, he made Peter Skoronski look silly, look foolish, and the Niners might have themselves one in Grayson Halton. He looked special in this game. He had a motor that would not stop. I was impressed, to say the least. I know Niners fans were all over Grayson Halton on social media tonight. That was a huge performance from the rookie defensive tackle. Next on my list of positive takeaways, cornerback Ephesians Prysock, the former Washington Husky. He played most of the game after backup corner Jack Jones left with a hand injury, and Prysock played well, displayed that athleticism that he has, the speed that he has for a guy at 6'4", the long, lanky arms that he has on full display as he registered a couple of pass breakups. He had that one pass breakup around the goal line early in the game against Carnell Tate, denying him a score early in the game. Now I'll say this. I don't know how many people are going to say it, but I'll say it. He was a little handsy on that one. He got away with one a little bit there. But Prysock being handsy, being physical, a little grabby, that's been the billing on Prysock coming into the NFL. He did that at Washington. That's known. But he got away with it, and as long as they don't throw the flag, hey, keep on doing what you're doing. He looked good out there. He looked good. He looked comfortable. He looked fluid for an athlete his size to play the way he does and look as comfortable as he does out there on an island at corner. I was very happy with that first performance from Ephesians Prysock. And, I mean, again, these rookies are looking very promising. And, I don't want to completely overreact, but if that first game was any showing, they have themselves a nice little project on their hands. I mean, sure, there's a lot to clean up and go into it and improve and whatnot with Prysock, but he looked good. He looks intriguing. At the very least, he looks like a guy the Niners are not wasting their time on, and a guy that they can continue to develop and see if all those physical traits that he has can develop into something really special. I liked what I saw from Prysock. Next on my list of positives, we have just a couple more here, and then we'll flip over to my negatives. I see a few of you guys chiming in the live chat. Thank you so much for tuning in today in the live stream. Tatum Bethune, 49ers backup linebacker Tatum Bethune was everywhere in this game. Quite frankly, he played a little bit too deep into this game for my liking because he played very well. He was impressive everywhere making plays. Tatum Bethune's a player. And I don't necessarily like how long they left him out there. I think that they need to be a little more cognizant of a player like Bethune, because if Fred Warner was to get injured, and knock on wood, you don't want that to happen. Tatum Bethune's going to be the guy that comes in there. And he really looked strong in this game. He looked very good. And in my opinion, he had the defensive play of the game when in the second half, Nick Singleton, the Titans running back, tried to pick up Bethune on a blitz pickup. Bethune just bodied him, just double-handed him into his chest, sent him flying onto his back, and then Bethune finished the play by getting a sack of Will Levis. A special play from Tatum Bethune in this game. Loved what I saw from him. I mean, he just made Nick Singleton look silly, like he wasn't even there. That was a highlight of the game for sure. Next on the list, Jaden Duggar. Linebacker Jaden Duggar, the rookie out of Louisiana. Everyone was wanting to see what he looked like. And similar to Ephesians Prysock, a long, lanky, athletic guy, Jaden Duggar did display some of that range, length, and athleticism in this game. He was flying around out there. I saw him. It wasn't for lack of effort. He was flying around out there trying to make plays. Early in the game, he did happen to corral Cam Ward out near the sideline when he came sprinting in out of the picture, and Cam Ward was trying to take off, and Jaden Duggar was having none of it. And that speed, he closed on Cam Ward fast and made the play. Really liked what I saw from Jaden Duggar in terms of a raw tools and athleticism standpoint. I want to see more from him as a rusher, but the athletic traits were there. You could see why they like him. You could see why he's been turning heads. And I, for one, was pleased with what I saw from Jaden Duggar, and I'm sure he will just continue to improve in the coming weeks. Next on the list, Ogbo Okoronkwo, the recent street free agent that the 49ers signed, the 31-year-old, looked explosive off the edge, had a sack in this game. With the lack of depth that the 49ers have, or at least the lack of healthy depth at edge that the 49ers have on their roster right now, Okoronkwo might be making a case for himself to make this roster with showings like that. If he continues to show out like that, now I get it. He was playing late into the game and against a lot of second and third string guys. But if he can continue to play like that, they'll find a place for him. He played well at the very least. And I liked what I saw because the Niners could use as many healthy bodies as they can get on their roster at defensive end. Lastly, from my positive takeaways from this game, Jordan Watkins. Jordan Watkins needed to go out there tonight in this preseason opener and put together a solid outing. And in my opinion, he did just that. 6 receptions, 59 yards, ran some good crisp routes, created some separation. He put together a nice night. He got open. They delivered him the ball. He was in the right spot at the right time, made some nice catches. That's all you can ask for from a guy like Watkins, who is trying to get his feet underneath him and really get his career off and running after a down rookie year last year. Liked what I saw from Watkins. Strong, showing in terms of a first preseason game from the kid. And he's a guy who figures to fit in at the back end of the Niners depth chart at wide receiver. Performances like that will definitely help him stick around. I was very happy with the former 4th rounder out of Ole Miss, Jordan Watkins. Good showing by the second-year receiver. All right, let's get to my negatives because I only have a few. So I'll say that. I only have a few. And then after I get through the negatives, we will cover a quick injury update, the injuries that happened in the game tonight. But my negatives, I have to start with Nick Martin. I know you're probably going to hear some people praising Nick Martin's play in this game. In my opinion, he didn't look good out there tonight. He was trying a little bit too hard. He was being a little bit too aggressive, over pursuing way too much. Now, I know maybe the Niners want their linebackers to play that way, but he was a little bit out of control at times. Nick Martin did not look good to me. He was routinely over pursuing on plays, taking bad angles. I don't like what I saw from Nick Martin out there tonight. He got washed out of the play a couple times when trying to get downhill around the line of scrimmage to make a play. Guys were able to get their hands on him because he was just coming in out of control, and they washed him out of the play, missed out on making some tackles. And there was one play early in the first half when Tajay Spears, the Titans running back, ran a ball up into the middle of the Titans offensive line. Just a total mass of humanity on the interior there. Spears is trying to figure out which way to go. Nick Martin has him dead to rights right there. All he has to do is wrap him up. Doesn't wrap him up. Spears is able to bounce it out to the right side and take off for a big gainer. Nick Martin could have made the tackle, but he didn't. And I just don't like what I saw from Nick Martin. He was either not aggressive enough or way too aggressive. There was no in between with Nick Martin in this game. And speaking of too aggressive, he did draw a flag for an unsportsmanlike penalty on a hit to the head and neck area early in the second half. Got called for a flag. Not a good look. 45 to me did not have a good showing out there tonight. Others may disagree. He did lead the team in tackles with 8, but I didn't like what I saw. I'll just be frank. I didn't like what I saw from Nick Martin. A little bit playing with a little bit too much reckless abandon. He needs to clean some things up, in my opinion. Next on my list, of negatives, and we only have 2 more. So just bear with me. I appreciate everyone who is catching this live. And if you're catching the replay, thank you very much. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment on the video. Hit the hype button as well. If you guys can hit the hype button after the fact and help push out the content, I would greatly appreciate it. But second on my list of negatives from this game, it was Adrian Martinez. As soon as Curtis Rourke left the game with injury and Adrian Martinez came in, it was like the wind went out of the sails of the 49ers offense. Adrian Martinez did not look good to me. 16 of 30, 159 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, played roughly 2.5 quarters after Curtis Rourke went out. He didn't look good. Didn't really do it for me. And Curtis Rourke, he popped in this game. Martinez didn't. And I'm not saying I expected Martinez to pop. I don't know if anyone really expected Martinez to pop. But when you're in that competition for QB3, you got to look better than that. He didn't really impress me much, especially considering with how Curtis Rourke played. And it may be more about how stellar Curtis Rourke looked compared to Martinez. It may not be necessarily Martinez play as much as it is Rourke just looked that much better. But Martinez didn't impress me in this one. As soon as Rourke went out, it was just kind of like it just the wind went out of the sails of the Niners offense, in my opinion, as soon as Rourke went down. And then lastly on my list of negatives, I got to go with Romello Height. Rookie, third-round pass rusher out of Texas Tech, Romello Height did not have himself a good rookie debut. His first snap of the game, trying to rush off the edge, got flagged for a hands to the face penalty. Not a good way to start things off. And then later in the game, ended up on his back, trying to do like a spin move. He didn't look good. Didn't look confident rushing the passer. Didn't look necessarily strong enough out there. I'm concerned, especially considering that Romello Height is already 25 years old. And the 49ers are going to be relying on him in a big way this year as a pass rusher on this team. They don't have time for him to sit and learn and develop. He needs to be ready to go now, especially considering the fact that he's already 25. He went out in this game and didn't do himself any favors. He didn't really look that good to me. Now, again, everything I'm saying here tonight on this instant overreaction, it's based off watching the game one time. Didn't rewind, didn't rewatch plays. I watched it one time, kind of jotted down, some notes and things. But I only watched the game once. But just based on what I saw, I don't like what I saw from Romello Height. Now, he's a rookie. It's his first game. I'm sure he'll look better. I'm sure he'll refine things. They'll watch the film. They'll figure it out. But just as a first game, as a debut in a Niner jersey, Romello Height was a little disappointing to me. All right. Those were my positives and negatives from tonight's game out there at Levi Stadium. Let's quickly go through an injury update from the game. Of course, we mentioned Curtis Rourke left the game midway through the second quarter with a rib injury, was taken to a nearby hospital. X-rays at Levi Stadium did not reveal a broken rib or anything like that. In terms of a timetable of the injury, how severe it is, all that remains to be seen. We will find out in the coming days, but Curtis Rourke went out early in the first half. Cornerback Jack Jones left early in the first quarter after, he was a standout in Niners camp all summer so far. He left early in the first quarter and suffered a hand injury, did not return to the game. Again, we'll have to wait and see about the severity on that one. Linebacker Nick Martin, who we just were talking about, suffered a stinger, but he did return to action, so good to see him get back out there. Wide receiver Jacob Cowing suffered an oblique injury and did not return. Jacob Cowing getting an injury. If you're playing a drinking game at home, take a shot, because Jacob Cowing and injury seemingly go together. I don't know what to say at this point. I don't think Jacob Cowing makes this team. I don't think Jacob Cowing has the ability to stay healthy long enough to make a case to stay on this team. I don't. So, Kyle Shanahan, after the game in his post-practice presser, also revealed that cornerback Nate Hobbs did not suit up for the game after suffering a groin injury during Tuesday's joint practice with the Titans. Not good considering he is your primary backup nickel corner to Upton Stout. He is expected to miss a few weeks, but I would imagine he may be ready for the start of the season. We shall see. But there we have it. Preliminary early injury updates from Levi Stadium. I just went through my positives and negatives from the game tonight. Let me take a couple of your guys' questions and comments in the live chat, and then we'll go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you guys for rocking with me here late this Thursday evening following the 49ers preseason opener against the Tennessee Titans. Niners fall 19-13, but in the preseason game, we all know the final score is not what matters. The Apex Sports Network says he attended the game today. Shout out to you, man. Hope you had a good time. Shout out my guy Joel Figueroa for tuning in. Thanks for chiming in. 415 Keys in the live chat. Shout out to Keys. Joel says, I like what I'm seeing from our rookie wide receiver, Dejon Stribling and Curtis Rourke today. I mean, hey, I would say those were the bright spots in this game offensively. If you're a Niners fan, you have to be excited with what you saw from them. Heck of a debut for both of those guys. Now, of course, Rourke's been on the team for a year, but coming off an ACL injury, did not play his rookie season. So this was really his first game action in a Niner uniform, and he looked impressive. I was really pleased with Curtis Rourke. But if you guys want to give any of your feedback in the live chat, I will take a couple more questions and comments before we go ahead and get on out of here. Overall, I'm really pleased with what we saw today. You know, some good, some bad, some really, really good, some, not so good. But it's preseason. I'm just glad 49er football is back on my screen. Can't wait for next week's game. I'll be real. I'm already waiting for next week's game. I'm sure this weekend I'll probably rewatch this preseason game, kind of go through it with a fine-tooth comb and try to sift through things and get some more takeaways there. But overall, nice first game from the 49ers. Nice to see Kyle Shanahan on the sidelines in this one. He did have the clipboard in his hands here and there. I'm not sure how much he was involved with calling plays. I know typically Clay Kubiak calls plays in the preseason, but good to see Kyle Shanahan out on the sidelines. He took all the questions in the post-practice presser. Looks like Kyle Shanahan is ready to go, ready to assume the role of 49ers head coach once again after that car accident in mid-July. But good to see Kyle Shanahan doing all the normal stuff that he does in a preseason game. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and call it there. I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. We did, just before we went live, dropped a video about Dejon Stribling's rookie debut, so make sure you go check that out as well. Hit a like on there, leave some comments, all that good stuff. Overall, good night if you're a 49ers fan. I appreciate everyone for tuning in into this instant overreaction as the 49ers drop their preseason opener to the Tennessee Titans 19-13. We'll be back soon with more here on Keeping the Faith.